welcome back. My name is LC, and today we're here with another Girls Frontline 2 Exilium video. Today we're going to be rating the top 5 most underrated dolls in my opinion. I have to clarify that because some people won't really understand that, unfortunately. This will be like rated out of all the dolls I have or own currently. I don't have all of them in the game, obviously, because I'm not that lucky. But it's fine. I do want to say though that again, it is my just basis opinion of who I think is underrated or who helps me in content in certain areas. So it's not like the law, you know what I mean? It's not like official. I just think me personally, I think that they're underrated. It doesn't mean to say they're officially rated by the CN or Korea servers like that. They're underrated, but just for me, my personal stance is I just feel like they are underrated. So gotta get that out the way. As always, I want to thank all of you guys for watching, whether you're an old, new viewer, / subscriber. I appreciate it nonetheless. Just a quick note though, the two winners of the holiday giveaway, Fred Scooby 18 and Quicksilver 1227, they have not responded yet, so I'm gonna give them a bit one more day for them to respond. If not, then I'll give them the 2 more winners, and if not, then I'll give them the 2 more winners, and if not, then we'll just cancel it and then just do it another time. But yeah, they have an extra day to claim their prize, and if not, again, we'll pass to somebody else. So nonetheless, let's get right to this video. Do you want to say though that this will be a yap session? It's not what you think it is. It's honestly just be yapping the whole time. So if that's not what you want right now, then that's totally fine. I have other videos demonstrating different characters and abilities and whatnot in the Girls Frontline 2 playlist, so go ahead and check that out. Alright, so first off, starting at number 5 for at least the underrated in my opinion, but least out of all of them, I think is, hear me out here, Cassia. I think I butchered that name probably, but forgive me if I probably did. I think that she is a pretty good support unit. I actually do like her passive. Kind of forget what it is though. It is passive for shopping. When an enemy unit within range receives targeted damage from an allied unit, prioritizes performing 1 instance of active support, dealing physical damage equal to 80% of attack at 3 points of stability, and so on, so on. Yeah, I really like this passive, but I think the reason why she kind of gets overlooked or overshadowed, in my opinion, right, is because there are better options for supports, right? If you have Suomi, I don't think you really need to use Cassia, right? But it will it's not a problem, right? Or Kofni, I think Kofni is probably the best SR or rare support in the game, in my opinion. I just think that her utility is probably out of all the supports in terms of SR characters, I just think that hers is the best. I could be wrong, but this, in my opinion, she gets the job done for me. But yeah, no, Cassia, I think again, she's a good unit, right? She's not bad at all. I think she will help you in dire situations. But I think I just think again, she's a good unit to use. I have fun with her. When I use her in the past, I know she's level 20 now. Don't judge me, okay? I gotta work on leveling up. I'm almost level 40. I gotta restart, give myself a harder time with leveling up the characters. But yeah, no, I think she's definitely a great support, and if you don't have Kofni, right, then use her 100%. Or if you just feel you want to switch it up or just run on your team too, you can, right? I don't think she will let you down by any means. But again, I can see why she might get overlooked by some people. But by no means though, with what they gave her is pretty good. And I'm sure with her extra fortifications, she will be even better too, right? Actually, I haven't even checked that out. Let me see. Overburn, releasing assault. Okay. Yeah, see, it's pretty decent. It's nothing too bad. Yeah, but a decent character. I don't think you're really gonna be missing anything if you do or don't miss her, right? But again, I do think she's underrated because she will get you out of some situations that you might need help in. Plus the added buff she's giving to you too. But again, I do think she gets overlooked by certain characters because of other characters might have better abilities and whatnot. Coming in number 4, we have Nemesis. Now, initially, I didn't really want to put her in. I kind of wanted to put Kralik in because even though you guys know how I feel about Kralik, but I gave it more thought and she's kind of good. But for Nemesis, in my instance, I do think she's good for certain kinds of content, and that can be said for any kind of character in this list, really, or in the game, to be specific. But in Nemesis's case, I think that she, my opinion here, I think that she mainly excels in campaign-ish territory. You might not want to use her in campaign, of course. Not campaign, excuse me, what am I saying? PvP, you might want to use her there. But I don't think you're really losing out on anything where you're going to use her. But I just think she's more effective in campaign, right? Again, her damage is just, it can be really nice. Sometimes it kind of does let me down, but like for the most part, she does really like do her own thing. I can see why some people like would rather use a different kind of sentinel because there are better options out there. But for the most part, it's not like she's completely useless. You know what I mean? I personally don't really have any like huge gripes with her, other than like sometimes her survivability isn't that great, but that's a whole like that factors in like a bunch of things. Like, did you build her up correctly? Is her team synergies like in full effect, right? A whole bunch of other factors that play into these characters, right? So again, I think she's personally like underrated for the mere fact that her like, how am I gonna phrase this correctly? I think she's very like content gated in my opinion, right? Like, she's good, like every character kind of is, but like her specific, I feel like she's like the epitome of that. Like, I feel like she's good like heavily with the PvE stuff, more so on the campaign side, but on like the PvP scale, like the harder missions, she's not all that. But again, I do think she will help you for the long run. I don't really see any problems if you want to like invest in her, really. Again, all these characters can like get you through content. Like, it's not like they're bad at all. But there are some who kind of like outshine others, aka QJ. She just she just does too much, which again I'm fine with. But that's the point. But yeah, no, Nemesis, underrated, number 4. Not too much about her. But now, the top 3 is, like, are the ones that, like, I feel like they're gonna, like, catch people, not really off guard, per se, but they might kind of, like, throw people off. So, coming in number 3 is Theara. Initially, I think my point kind of still stays the same with her, like, great AoE damage with burst damage, too. But again, her defense is just squishy. But I do think, for the most part, like, she does like great things. Like, she can attack multiple enemies at once. She has great versatility, and I think she could fit in multiple areas of content as well. But again, her survivability is not that great. But it's not really going to hinder you if you build her correctly and add her to the right amount of teams. And also take into the fact that she will need the fortifications to be better, as for any other character in the game. And I do think she will need like a good, like, well-equipped keys for her to use, because the right amount of keys for any character could obviously make or break the unit, right? But for the Theara's case, I think that she kind of depends on those extra fortifications and keys. But again, it's like you don't need it, but it's like it's recommended. You know what I mean? So for Theara's case, I personally do have a fun time using her every now and then. Like, if I want to tackle some low content, like not like if let's say I want to do like hard mode, like chapter 1, 2, or 3, I'll throw her in there, right? I don't have a problem with it. The reason why I don't really bring her up into the high-end content is because like I want to clear as fast as I can, but I'd rather just use my elite characters. Like, I have them now. Like, it's not like I was first starting out the game and I only had like SR characters, right? I don't know what they call it. I know there's elite. I don't know any other classes after that. I forget, or I just don't know. But yeah, like, I'd rather just use my elite characters for like the harder or like high-end tier content, right? Because I have them. But for like the lower mid-tier stuff, like, I'll have no problem using the Theara, right? I do think she's a great viable option. PvP, she's okay there too. I feel like if you're just starting the game, getting her is not going to be bad at all. I think she'll actually benefit you substantially. But I can see why people kind of do turn away from her, because again, I think that's kind of, it's not really a problem, but that's kind of where like the conundrum lies within not the game, but like these units particularly. And basically for any other gacha too, it's like there's always someone better, or there's going to be someone better, right? So we have better options for sentinels, right? However, people on Nemesis, like, if you want to switch them around, be like, oh, Nemesis is better than Theara, you know what I mean? It's interchangeable, right? But again, there's better options. And if you get like elite characters, I mean, sometimes like the rarity doesn't like mean anything, but I feel like in this case most sentinels are probably better than the Theara in this case, right? But again, she's not, doesn't mean she's a bad sentinel, but she's like, there's better options. Again, it's the same thing for any gacha. There's always someone better, and that's not really the problem. It's kind of like the whole selling point, right? In terms of like maybe like fighting game gachas, but like there's always going to be like someone good for then, and then they're either going to release like someone better later on, and then the rinse and repeat. Or let's say they release a unit, right? And then that unit is like a problem in the meta, right? Like they're causing havoc. They are going to sell the problem, not the problem, excuse me, sell the solution, excuse me, and then the solution then becomes the problem, and then rinse and repeat. They sell the solution again, and it goes on and on and on. Great example, Dragon Ball Legends. They do that every single time. But again, every gacha game I know basically does that, so I can't get mad at it. But yeah, Theara number 3, I think she's pretty versatile, has a great utility, great damage, defense so lacking, but she will definitely help in good portions of content. Now for number 2, this, I think it is underrated, yes, but I don't think by like the masses, because I do see people use her. I just think it was underrated in terms of like me, because I thought she wasn't that, like, I thought she was mid, right? And for those who watch the video, you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ulrid. She is heavily underrated. So I do see people use her, but not like often, but like at first I thought she was alright, right? I just thought like she just wasn't all that as I expected her to be. But she is someone that you have to like learn like a lot. She needs a lot of care, and like she needs a lot of like dupes and everything's into her kit to be fully effective. But that doesn't mean that she's necessarily bad, right? In terms of like all the melee fights I need to have done, or it's like just need to have, she will get it done. She is generally that one character that like I can definitely rely on in terms of like melee fights or just movement in general, or like just needing her to go like have an extra turn. She's someone I can rely on, right? I think she has a, I don't know if she has the highest, she doesn't have the highest DPS in the game, but she's definitely up there, I think. In terms of like, maybe like, if we're comparing like, if we're using like melee damage to like, I guess like shooting damage to say, like if we're coupling that in with each other, hers is definitely up there. I just think that again, there's obviously better DPS characters out there. But for a Vanguard character, I do think that she has a lot of great things about her. Her stealth comes in clutch, her combo attacks, her ability to like just go multiple times if used correctly. I just think it's like it's perfect crafted. Her survivability is actually pretty decent. I don't really have her. She doesn't really die that often whenever I use her. I just think that she's overall like, she's someone who's good. You can even say great, but like a lot of things like overshadow her. Not in terms of like characters really, but like in terms of like the way she's designed. Because again, she does need like, she needs a lot of like caring and like understanding to really grasp the full potential of. But once you get the hang of that, like she's literally she's a force, an immovable object, if you will. Like she's literally a force to be reckoned with. Like once you understand it, you're basically fine, right? But I think it's like not a lot of people want to really have that as a character. Some people want to like turn their brain off and just use the character for fun, right? They don't want to do the whole extra work, which is probably where I made the mistake of when I made that video of Ulrid, right? I was like, oh, I mean, she's alright, does good damage, but that's about it. She's just mid. I basically called her mid. But looking deep into her kit, and also I can't even like deny the amount of comments that like telling me like how she's better like utilized, which I do appreciate, by the way. Like again, people were like we're agreeing with like, yeah, she is mid at first, but like once you really get to grasp and understand the way she works, she's generally like a pretty good unit. And I think that's how we all got our approach. First of all these characters, but like Ulrid in particular, I think that's how we got to approach her. Again, she might seem like meh at first, but like once you really get down and know the nitty gritty of how she works, I think that you'll have first off a great time using her. And also like you could also plow through a lot of content. Do I use her in PvP? Sometimes. I mainly do it when I want to get close to the enemy and like I want to like retreat like fast as I can. So like if I want to just go slice and dice and then move back, I can do that. She does have like a bow and arrow attack too, but I don't really use it that much. But I do think what else, like also using or her activating her stealth attack when her health reaches 30% or something like that. I forget how it works, but I know she activates it when her health gets low. I do think it comes in handy pretty often too. When you're doing boss content, I think it's pretty effective. Like there's nothing too crazy. I think her having the stealth in boss content is pretty effective. But where the drawback is like she can do her bow and arrow attack behind like a barrier. You can keep her, you know, behind an object. But when you move in closer, it's like you're kind of leaving her vulnerable to damage. And that can be the same, like said with any kind of content, right? Because she's kind of in the open. But first off, two things: she can be moved, like if you play correctly, she can be moved back to like a different area. She can just go hit them and then move back behind a barrier, or you can just have her sit there and take it, which isn't great, obviously. But you know, that's what happens sometimes. But yeah, no, basically, I think she's a, like, in my opinion, top 2 most underrated character so far, like in my list. Dare I say in the game? I can't say that yet because I don't have every character, so I don't know. But for the most part, she's definitely up there most underrated. Now for the last character. This, I feel like you guys know where I'm heading with this, and I'm not even mad at it. It's fine. I'm glad I'm happy to say it. I'm thrilled to say it. Vepley. Thank you. Vepley. I think she's the epitome of underrated. When I made the first video of Vepley's like, jeez, thank you. Anyways, when I made the first video of Vepley, dude, the amount of people that got they were like, they're not having it. Rightfully so. I think I understood, 'cause the way I worded it, I made it seem like she was like the best damage character, and she's not, obviously. But her burst damage, we can't deny it. It's peak. Let's be so for real. It's honestly peak. And I think the amount of content she's used it is like everywhere. You see her in generally a lot of places. Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. I think you see her a lot of boss content and a lot of like event quests, but I don't see her a lot in PvP, which is so sad because she's definitely a fun unit. She can push characters to the, was it the edge? I'm pretty sure. She also does, I think it's AoE damage too. Defenses are pretty good. She has a like sonic wave attack that decreases defense. I forget the name of it. I could look it up right now because I'm on the game, but I just don't want to. I was being lazy. You can make the case that since she doesn't have that high enough, damage output, you have better options to use. That's fair. You can make that point. But I think in terms of like hitting units all at once or decreasing defense, she is your go-to. She generally is. She's not someone who's bad, like, at all. The amount of debuff she places too is great. Like, I don't think you're gonna have a bad time using her at all. You can make the argument here that since you get her for free, that maybe she's bad. I don't think that's the case because we also got Papasha, who was also free for global. I think she's also free for the CN service too. I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention to all that, but Papasha's a good character. She's a good unit. She's not someone to sleep on at all. But this is not about her. I'm talking about Vepley here. Vepley's a good character. I will stand by that. Yo, Vepley, my man. Anyways, I generally think that she's made for what she needs to do. If you don't want to use her in PvP, that's up to you necessarily. It just, in my opinion, I kind of think you're not missing out, really, but it's like, why not? It doesn't really hurt to, unless she doesn't work for your team or this kind of game your teams are running, then that's fine. I understand that, but like, it doesn't really hurt to drop that much, right? She's great for boss content. She's great for events, great for campaign. Again, PvP is kind of wonky, but like, I don't know. I just hope first off this video doesn't resonate with like the PvP players, even though it kind of will, because it has to. But like, sure, she might not have like an elemental damage aspect a part of her. I don't think that's necessarily bad. Some characters do, some characters don't have it. Again, the way she disrupts and she has the AoE attack, I think they both go hand in hand. And if built correctly, she can do serious damage with the right team. Like, just naming off the top of my head here, there was a character who was, I think they were like really good for boss content. It's an SR character. Elite character. Was it Papasha? That like, they did like, oh no, that wasn't really boss, but like for, it's for bigger opponents. Yeah, it's Papasha. Her and the warden, like the city warden, whatever it's called, they do extra damage towards bigger characters. And if you use Vepley here, her decreasing defense, AoE damage, I feel like that those two just go hand in hand. And plus the color scheme, that's not lying here. If you want to add Sabrina, you can too. It's kind of up to you really. But yeah, it's up like those two for me again. Just Papasha and Vepley, they both go together. But back to mainly Vepley's sake, I say that she is severely underrated. Don't judge me her not having her at level 40 right now. Okay, there's reasons to why she's not. Okay, I'm trying things out. Okay, I'm kind of low on resources and I gotta grinding. That's the only reason why. But yeah, for me, I say she's the #1 most underrated character, at least in my list. Not in terms of like the official like Girls Frontline 2 character. I don't know. I don't have everyone, so I can't say that. But for my opinion, my roster, I think she's the most underrated. So that about does it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know who you guys would put in your top 5 most underrated dolls in the game. With that being said, my name is LC. Have an amazing day. God bless, and I will catch you all in the next Girls Frontline 2 Exilium video.